A movie was released in 2017 on Netflix, and it was claimed by Netflix that out of 100 people, there is only one person who can watch the entire movie. So you can imagine how scary it would be. But apart from this, there was a question in most people's minds, and that is this movie based on truth or just a fictional movie for entertainment? And honestly saying it is even scarier than the movie. Horror fans all over the world were really into Veronica, a Spanish movie from 2017 about a girl who uses an Ouija board and gets possessed. The movie is based on the story of Estefania Gutierrez Lazaro. Estefania was born in 1973 and grew up with her family in Vallecas, South Madrid. She had a younger brother and sister, and life was going smoothly until something changed everything. Estefania's parents became distressed one day, and it was because of Estefania herself. Suddenly, Estefania's behavior took a strange turn. She began making unusual sounds, sometimes even lashing out at her brother. She also started scratching the walls of their home. Her family members were frightened and concerned by her actions. Her parents tried talking to Estefania, asking her why she was behaving this way. But Estefania couldn't offer any explanation. She mentioned seeing a shadow in the night, which triggered her odd behavior. With each passing day, Estefania's health declined, adding to her parents' anxiety and worry. Chapter Her Death. The more Estefania's parents looked into it, the more they learned that she reads books about ghosts and the occult. The parents thought that these books might have had an effect on Estefania, so they took them out of her room. No changes were made to Estefania's position, though. Estefania's parents sought a priest for help because they were desperate, but it didn't work. They also talked to doctors, but all of the tests showed that Estefania was mentally and physically healthy. But still, Estefania's health kept getting worse. She was in the hospital for a few weeks. Then sadly, Estefania died in the hospital for unknown reasons, which left everyone puzzled. The doctors told her family that she had died of cardiac arrest, which made them very sad. Afterward, the parents buried their daughter with Catholic rites. The possessions in Estefania's room remained undisturbed because her parents loved their grown daughter so deeply. The room was scrubbed and the door was locked by Estefania's mother. Everything was all right for a few days. Chapter Paranormal Activities. But when Estefania's mother entered Estefania's room one day, she was shocked by how bad it looked. There was not any organization in the room, and nothing was where it should have been. At first, Estefania's parents assumed it might have been any neighbor. For a few days, everything was fine, but then things got scary. Creepy sounds originated from Estefania's room. Also, it seemed like Estefania was calling her mother through the sounds. Estefania's parents heard these sounds and opened the door to her room. When they got inside, they found that cold air was blowing in, but there was no air outside the window. Estefania's parents saw that the walls had new scratches on them. Since Estefania was still alive and acting strangely, these marks were made on the walls in the same way. Because all of these things were making the family very scared, they decided to lock Estefania's room tight so that no one could get in. But then the exact opposite of what he thought would happen did. The same sounds happened again the next night, and Estefania's room door even opened by itself. The family was so scared that they chose to tell their friends what was going on. They were afraid that no one would believe them, though. Even so, Estefania's parents were brave enough to tell their neighbors about it. The neighbors also said they heard strange sounds coming from their house at night. Chapter A Nun. Then one day some teachers from Estefania's school came to her house. One of them was a nun. These kinds of things were told to Estefania's parents, which helped them understand a lot about what was going on in their house. She told them that Estefania had a close friend with a boyfriend. Estefania's friend was very sad after her boyfriend died in a bike accident. Then one day she went to the back of the school and saw 4 girls. One of them was Estefania and one of her friends who had lost her boyfriend. She saw that they were all sitting around a wooden box with a glass on top. After that, she went there right away and broke the box. When she did, she saw white smoke coming out of it and going into Estefania through her nose and mouth. She tried to understand from them what exactly they were doing. She figured out that Estefania liked to read books about witchcraft and ghosts because she thought she could connect with ghosts and spirits. She wanted to call her friend's boyfriend's soul and get her friend to talk. After that, she sent all 4 of them away from that place. Chapter Reason Behind Death. Things changed for Estefania around the time of her death. which was about 7 to 8 months before she died. Estefania's parents knew why all of those things were happening. They thought Estefania could talk to ghosts, but now she was walking around the house like a ghost and might be trying to talk to them. Then her mother went to Estefania's room and found that the picture of Jesus on the wall was in the opposite direction, and Estefania's picture was lying on the carpet below. Estefania's mom starts to pick up her picture, but as soon as she does, she drops it back on the floor. When Estefania's dad sees this, he doesn't get why his wife threw the picture back. He bows down to get the picture. It scares Estefania's dad to pick up the picture and turn it over. The picture of Estefania starts to burn by itself, and then Estefania's dad drops the picture. Both of their parents leave the room. When Estefania's parents contact a plumber in the morning, they tell the plumber to fully seal off Estefania's room. Besides that, they put a lot of items in front of Estefania's room door. That door won't open at all. The same thing took place. It was louder this time than the last time. It seemed that someone might want to come out of the room. Estefania's room lock opened strangely, and it does it again that night. Chapter police came in the story. Lazaro's family was afraid of how many more nights they would have to spend in this state of fear. So they thought about leaving the house, but they were still just thinking about these things and hadn't made up their minds yet. Then that night, something new happened that had not happened before. There was no one on Estefania's mother that night, but she woke up feeling like someone was squeezing her. She tried very hard to take her hand off, but she couldn't. After that, she was able to handle herself. The family called the police that same night, and Estefania's mother told the police chief everything that happened. In the house, the cops felt very strange. Inside the house, it was cold. After hearing those sounds, they checked to see if anyone else was in the house. They have been coming for months, but only Estefania's mother hears them. No one else in the house has heard them. They saw that every picture in the room was upside down when they got there. Everything in the room was all over the place. All of a sudden, there was a strong wind in the room, but there was no wind outside when they opened the window. The cops then didn't know what to do. Her dad tells them that their younger son sleeps in a room with 2 beds. He has to sleep on one bed, but he can kick the other bed over like a football. The cops didn't believe what he said. Then they got to know that all of these things only happen at night. The police choose to spend the night there. It is late at night, and Estefania's dad takes the cops to his son's room. After a while, they see everything yourself. Things start to go wrong in front of the cops. The same scary sounds start to play. The cops then write all of this down in their report. The cops said the same thing about what they saw at the house. That's when this event got the attention of the media. People kept talking about it for a long time. Many investigations were done, but nothing was found that led them to believe that a person was responsible for these events. Estefania's parents moved away after that, and all of these supernatural things stopped happening. In Spain, people still talk about this story. Aside from that, the government has a record of this kind of strange event. So this is the real story of the movie Veronica. Far scarier than the movie. So Veronica is real, not real. Do tell us in the comments which part of the story haunted you the most, and also subscribe to our channel for such amazing videos.